Hey, welcome back to Mill Yard. My name's Bill. This is Pirate Solutions Forestry, and finally back out here. It's been a chaotic couple of weeks, and we are ongoing with our effort to test out some of Norwood's new stuff. And today we're going to run one of their new Stellite bands. But you've already seen me do that. The interesting part of this particular Stellite band is that we sharpened it with a rock. And there's a controversy over whether the bands could be sharpened with a standard rock or whether they would need diamond or CDM. We sharpened them with standard aluminum oxide. If you didn't watch that video, you can go ahead and watch it. And it appears to have done a superb job on it. And also, my friend Wolfie on Norwood's site pointed out to me that he thought the Stellite bands were 10 degrees, and they probably were. And I think I saw that in my sharpening, but I sharpened them to 7. So I'm going to give you a look at the band. And I'm going to pick it up into your view here. But so here's what the band looks like now. It's sharpened to 7 degrees. It's not 10. It was sharpened with a standard aluminum oxide wheel, rock, stone. These Stellite inserts, like you see right here, are a hard, almost carbide-like insert. They are extremely sharp. I don't know if you can see where they peel on my thumb. You can see some of the, actually, you can see some of the thumbnail hanging right there inside that gullet right there. It fell down. See my thumbnail? I get the focus, yep. So these are certainly sharp enough to cut on a sawmill. And the other thing that I want to do is I want to see if there's some markings on this band and see if it says what it is. Let's find here is the weld. Usually the markings are right there. And the markings appear to be just rubbed off, so I can't see anything that says what they were. But there's a reasonable possibility that these were 10-degree bands and now this one is 7. And what we're going to be cutting is red oak. I just got the order, the confirmation on the balance of the order for the red oak deck boards, like that one that cant that we had left over that's sitting under there. 5.5 by 3/4 thick by 8 feet long. Red oak deck boards for an enclosed farmer's porch here on Cape Cod. They liked the way the previous ones looked so much that they gave me the balance, which is 35 more. And we're going to start with this log right here. Just grabbed it out of my red oak pile. Yeah, I don't think that it's anything super special. We'll be able to get a good chunk of the order out of here. I'm certainly going to have to cut another log, and I'm going to try to cut what's left of that cant. And I'm going to try to pick out of my flitch pile here any 3/4 flitches that can be edged down to 5.5 inches wide. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw that band on and check my tracking, and we're going to get to work. I think I'm just going to pause you guys now while I throw that band on. You guys are seeing bands thrown on enough, and we'll try just to get the cutting. So I'm going to pause you. All right, so we got the band on. Yeah, tracking's good. This log's like 17 by 17. Check this end out. There is a little stub down on the bottom here. That's pretty much 17 this way too. There's a little funky cut on this end, so can't really check it there. Let me get our height. First cut's going to be about 15. This log does have a bend in it. I have it horns up. We're going to try to get as big a cant out of this as we can, and then shave off the 5.5 inch wide cant, and try to see how it goes. I'm not really sure. So I think it's 17. So you got, it's 70 and 49. So it's going to end up somewhere around a 12-inch can. I think that comes out at one, should be 70 and 49, so 119. So 11.9, and that gets us over the 11 that we need. So if we could get this into an 11 and 8-inch cant, that would be terrific. That means we have 2 cants that we can cut our 5.5-inch boards out of. So that's kind of our goal, is to get it into an 11-inch cant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sawing, and I'll just keep in mind I'm on mic, so there's going to be noise canceling in the mill, but I'll keep you up to date as I go, and we'll see how it goes and how it cuts, and what we can extrapolate from that. So like I said, the top cut's going to be around 15, I think, here. Yeah, that looks about right. So I think I'm just going to set it at 15 and cut the top off it. And our goal is to get to an 11 and 1/8 inch cant. Also, this is an ongoing effort testing the new roller guide system as well. So far, it seems to be operating really, really well. Whether it's operating as well as the system, the roller guide system that I had set up, I'm not sure, but so far seems to be operating pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and start cutting. So my overall first impression of the band is that it seemed to cut pretty flawlessly. I would say that it's not as, it didn't go through that as effortlessly as my Turbo 7s do, but seemed to cut pretty well. cut super flat, super smooth. I will bring you over here and show you the finish to show you what you can expect, because that band was really dull when I sharpened it. If you haven't watched the sharpening video of that band, then go ahead and watch that. Now I can't see through with my sunglasses, but hopefully I got my hand in here for focus. This came out super smooth. I did not set this band. I just face sharpened the teeth. It's super smooth. There's not a dip or a mark in it. It cut out super flat. Hopefully my camera's not going to overheat today. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this log, and we'll cut the other side off it. I'm going to go ahead and pause you guys for a second while I do that, try and keep time down on the video. All right, well, I take it back. So when I went to roll it, as I come to the middle here, I'm only 8 inches wide in the middle here. I'm not to my 11 inches wide here. So it almost makes more sense to take another flitch off this. So that's going to give me an inch. And the other side is going to hump up, so that's going to help me. So I'm going to take a 3/4 inch board off this side, which should mean that I have to drop, I think that cut was at 15. Yeah, so I should have to drop to 14 1/8, giving me a 3/4 inch board to edge off later. So let's just drop down. So 3/4 is 14 1/4, and 1/8 for the kerf is 14 1/8. So let's just check that out. Since these are deck boards and they have to be 3/4, I'll just double check my math. Yeah, perfect. So we'll go ahead and run that through. We'll take a flitch off it, then we'll spin it. So the one thing that I noticed right away about the way the band's running is that it is running the teeth, and I don't know how well you guys can hear it with the noise canceling, but the teeth are engaged nice and even, beautifully. It's very even when I'm running it. It's very predictable. There's no in and out of the cut. It's just one constant pressure. I do have to push on this a little more than a Turbo 7, which I don't know whether that really matters or not. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my hands out of the way here. I'm going to show you this cut. It is important that you take the sawdust off of oak, just so that it doesn't get stained by metal from the teeth. Give you a look at that cut. Cut perfectly smooth. I don't feel or see any ridges in it. Really super smooth. You know, finish. It's a finished surface right now. This is not typical sawmill surface. This is like a finished surface. You know, this can go right down on the deck the way it is. Beautiful log, should come out really nice. So now I'm going to roll that log and I'm going to put you guys on pause. I'll roll it over. We'll take the other side off it. All right, so full disclosure, I'm a little long here. 8 feet for his boards is right here. I'm a little bit long. I'm all the way out at like 10 and change. I've measured this part here. I'm going to try to take it at, so my drop dead point is 11 1/8. Unless, no, there's a pretty good, it's a pretty good swoop in right here on the log, so it's actually past this mark. I could actually, if I had a chainsaw with me, I'd cut this log off. But I'm going to take it off at 12 and then 11 1/8. I'll probably be able to sneak one board out of that flitch cut, and then I'll be set on my 11 1/8. And it can be 11 1/8 either way, it doesn't matter. And the 11 1/8 is not being calculated on the 3/4 boards, it's just being calculated on what I need to split it into 2 cans. So I'm going to take it off at 12 and then 11 1/8, and then we'll flip it on its side. Now, I know you probably can't see this, but there's no way I could get another 3/4 board out of this piece. That worked out perfect. So we're going to come back, come down to 11 1/8, take a piece off it. And what I'm listening for, I know that you can't hear it great, but what I'm listening for is I'm listening for the way that the band's engaged the whole time. Trying to keep it nice and even so I get good flat cuts so he gets finished boards. So come to 11 1/8. This will give us a 3/4 inch flitch. So really what I'm doing that whole time is I'm trying to keep the noise that the teeth are making sound exactly the same the whole time. Same amount of loading on the band. So I know that it's taking the same cut The same amount of load. Not introducing any crazy harmonics or anything like that. Trying to keep the cut flat. It's a beautiful piece of wood. There is one little, I'll show you, one little flaw in the middle of this log. I'll show you how good it looks right now. So again, just beautiful finish. There's not a wave in it. It's perfectly flat, even around those knots. There is one little flaw in this log right there. I'm not really sure what that's all about. We're going to find out. But this just beautiful smooth cut so far. And like I said, I do have to keep a little more pressure on this band than I'm used to. I'm used to it cutting through a little bit easier. And I'm definitely feeling the feedback. So this kind of stinks. I'm gonna have to make a mark here at like 8.6. This end gets small, but I'm not worried about this piece because my 8.6 is like right here. Yeah, actually I'm gonna make a mark right there, probably on both sides, so I know what to worry about as far as wane goes. I don't really worry what happens past this mark. And it's right where the log dips down. So I can get my maximum out of it from here to there with no problem. And I'll try and do that without cutting this log off. So I'm just going to make a good mark here. Mark on the bottom. Just a mark here just so I can see it. And what I want to have happen is I want this cant to be max size, but from this point to there, I don't really care about this so much. So we're going to flip it up 90 degrees. We'll take the top off it. Once we get the top cleaned up, we will get it to, we know we're already at 11 1/8 this way. We can get this to whatever we can get it to max from this point over with no wane, and then we'll split it in half and we'll cut out the balance of the order. So let's see if we get it, since you're watching, see if we get rolled up 90 degrees here. It was not hard to roll over. They do get a little harder when you start rolling them with a flat spot on them. I can actually use my log dog assist here maybe. Okay, good. Got a good low bite on it. Then we'll try to get this squared up. Let's get my log dog assist over. Just to hold on to it for me. Let's check if the square. It's got a ways to go. In a perfect world, it would square up against that stop out there. Still got a little more to go. Get my log dog assist a little closer. Oh, that's perfect. Perfectly square right now. I want to get a dog in it. See where my stops are. So it does make a difference so you don't twist it. Okay, so we got her squared up, and our top cut to get it cleaned up on this side is going to be about 14.5. There's really not much I can do about that. I'm not going to get my 11 1/8 this way. So I think we'll just come to 14.5, cut it off right there, and then flip it all the way over, and we'll maybe even, so it's got to be cut in half this way. So we'll flip it 90 degrees, cut it in half, flip it up, and then mill it out. I'm going to come up to 15 5/8. No, 14.5. We put 15 3/8, and I'm going to take a cut off right there and see if I can steal a board out of the flitch. And it looks like I accomplished my task. Looks like I got one board out of the flitch, so we're going to come off. We're going to go back, drop to 14.5. That should be a 3/4 board, right? Yes. So that should be a 3/4 board. So that gets us cleaned up on the top side of Wayne anyway. Another 3/4 board here. There's at least one in it. We'll flip this thing. We could just, we're going to flip it on its side and cut it in half. Yeah, we'll flip it on its side, cut it in half, and then flip it up and mill it out. So we should be 11 1/8 this way. Yeah, it's perfect. This band is setup is cutting beautiful right now. That means that we'll end up with two cants of 5.5 inches. And then 5.5 and 5.5 is 11 plus, oh Jesus, can't get the dog in it. 5.5 and 5.5 is 11 plus the 1/8 inch kerf is 11 1/8. Get my log dog assist out of the way here. And now we'll make sure that our log stops are below 5. So we'll just take them down to 3. It'll give us a little room for rolling it in a minute. We should be able to just come up 5.5 inches off the deck, and that should give us 5.5 and 5.5. Cut it in half, roll it up, finish it out. Set our 3/4 scale. Oh, can't have these up too high. Set our 3/4 scale. Those look good. So we'll come down to 5.5. That should be good. And we're going to get our adjustable blade guide side out to where it's going to clear. It almost looks clear right there. I'm going to take it out 1 click. Fire it up, cut it in half. Now I know I'm 5.5 off the deck, so we'll just check the 5.5 on the top. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, let's cut it now. Hitting on my log dog assist with my nut sticking off the side here. Back it up a little bit so it doesn't engage right away. A little more clearance. A little more clearance. Okay, come up 6 turns. Under 7. We'll get this thing flipped on its side. We got a mark here for where we want to cut from. That's what we're going to set our depth off of, is that mark. We need our cut in to start here, not down there. Although it does look like it flares out a little bit and it'll be fine. So we want to pull it over a little so when we roll it, we don't put this one off the mill. I'm actually going to put these up just a little just to protect. There we go. To protect this one from going right over the top of them and going out. And then we'll roll it on its side. We'll set our scale up top because we can't cut down all the way to. The one thing about cutting 3/4 boards is we can't cut to 3/4 boards. Oh, shit. We can't cut. We can't cut to 3/4 from the deck, so we have to be careful. We have to scale off the top of the log instead of the bottom of the log. And then when I get down kind of low, I think I'm going to take this one little cant that's up the top here, and try to see if I can get it set on top of it and clamp down. So I think we can safely come up a teeny bit without having to worry about anything. I'll check that as we get low. And we'll set our log dogs nice and low, and if they have to be adjusted, we'll adjust them later. And we'll start mowing off 3/4 inch boards. So just looking here is this height here is about 13. I think it dips off the other side a little bit. I think we'll try it at 13 first. We'll make a cut at 13 before we set our 3/4 scale. Let's see. Or actually, we'll just set it at 13 and set our 3/4 scale. Going to take my magnetic scale off because it does not have a 3/4 on it. We're going to go to 13. See if we're on scale, which we're not. We got to come down a little bit. And we are going to possibly adjust this. Oh, shit. Maybe I'm going tight. We're going to pretend start at 13. So I'm on 3/4 scale at 13, and if this first board doesn't work out, we'll adjust that. And if I can get a board off either side at 13, then that'll be good. But if it doesn't, then we won't. We'll get our setup most of the way in. I think we got one board out of that. Yep, we got one good board, and this one's not a board yet. And we're just going to drop on scale from here. So next drop is to like 12 1/8. Just dropped to my next 3 and done. Up one crank, my next one's like 11 1/4. Just drop to the next 3 by 11 1/4 and cut. I'm going to come up 2 cranks. My next one should be around 10 3/8. So 2 cranks. Come down to 10 3/8, find my 3, and cut it. Okay, my next one is at like 9.5. I'm going to come up 1, 2, 3 cranks. Drop down to 9.5 and find the 3 and cut it. Okay, my next cut's at like 8 5/8, so we're going to come up. I got 4 boards, 4 cranks. Come back, drop to 8 5/8, find my 3 and cut it. Okay, my next one's a 7 3/4-ish, so we're going to come up 5 cranks. Whip it back, drop down to 7 3/4, find my 3 and cut it. Next cut is like 6 7/8. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Flip it back, flip it down to 6 7/8. Find my 3 and cut it. Okay, next cut should be a 6 inches at 7 cranks up. Should be right at 6 inches. Find my 3 and cut it. Eight cranks up, next cut should be a 5 and 8. We're going to clean off some of these boards. I need a place to put them. Let's get you guys over here. I want to put them up front. However, I do have to edge these. I got to edge some of those. This is going to come off because I'm probably going to cut this, whatever the remainder is of this. So I'm going to stick this over here. We're going to pull these over. Now I'm going to get the majority of the 35 boards I need out of this log, I think. And I'll show you these two. This one here is a kind of a waste board. Still cutting silky smooth. This one here is not a good board either. That kind of stinks. Nope. This one, the next one here is borderline. Some of these out of the way. Let me scrape one of these off and get a look at it. Get this one down there too. This one looks okay. This one looks like it's going to make the cut. So I had a couple that didn't make the cut there. Could have maybe flipped this over and maybe saved a couple of pieces. Yeah, I think I could have. Well, I would have just ended up with it in reverse. It doesn't really matter, but. So here's, let me get my shadow out of the way. Figure out where the best angle is. So here's these boards. Get my hand in there, see how smooth it's cutting. Still cutting great. Like I said, though, it is a little bit more effort than I'm used to. I'm going to pause you guys while I take the rest of these off. And we'll cut the order out and we'll see what we got. All right, so I got 16 so far. They're coming out beautiful. There's a slight bow in one side of them. That's going to end up being fine. Putting just 3/4 boards down and bending them in, they'll be fine. You got beautiful medullary rays on them. They're gorgeous pieces. You can see the bow actually in the cant. We're going to cut the rest of this one out. And when we get down close to the bottom, we're going to see if we can take, I'm going to try something I've never tried before, taking one cant off and putting it on top and see if we get it clamped and cutting it all the way out. And then we'll see if we can get that one that's on the ground down there up there and cut that all the way out, and then cut the balance on the other one. So we're going to try to cut this out. Get a drink real quick. Beautiful day here in New England. It's gorgeous out. Then I'll see what I have, and I'll edge off the balance of my flitches to get myself to where I need to be. So I think the last cut was around 5 1/8. We'll just get down there really quick. All I got to do is drop to a 3. Yeah, I should have been right there. I think. That's exactly where it was. So we just dropped the next 3, which is at 4 1/4. And out of that. And we got to come up 1 crank, and the next cut's 2 3/8. Then we're going to see what we can do here. So next cut, 2 3/8. Oh no, 2 1/2. Sorry, right there. Yep. 3 3 3/8. Right there. And then the next cut should be a 2 1/2. And 2. Then we're going to try something. It should be right there. That's another 8 boards. That gets me to 24. I only have 10 really left that I need. Plus I'll give them a couple of extras. So 12 more after this. I'm going to pause you guys 1 second while I get these off there. Pause you guys while I get these off there. We're going to set up to try something different. Anyone who gets that hung on this long is going to get to see it. All right, so what I did was I put this one on top. I got my stops just up over the bottom there. Hopefully those are close enough. We're probably going to have to crap the bottom board because it's not going to come out 3/4. Hopefully it works out. And then I clamped it on this side just above, as low as I could. So we should be able to cut this board out and then do the same thing with that one right there and get as much out of it as we can, and then cut the bottom board until we can't anymore. We can probably just leave a board on there and do the same thing with that one to get down to the bottom of that one wherever it ends up. And then we will know how many we have to edge off to get to our balance. So let's try this. It's the first time I've ever tried it, so see how it works out. So I have to make sure I'm at 3/4 scale on the top, which we're going to have to get up to that point. Come down, just brush the top of this board. We want to set 3/4 scale off the top, not the bottom. And that could work for us or against us. Okay, so that looks like the top right there. It's not on 3/4 scale. That's going to give us our last cut's going to end up being like 1.5 inches thick. So that should clear everything. I think we go with that. So gives us a few boards anyway. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 boards there, and then we're gonna have to take one off. So let's try that. Let's see how it works out. It's not really 4 boards there. Not, I was wrong. It's only 2 boards because we're taking into consideration the ones underneath it. So this one's at like 2 1/4. Hopefully we'll clear our stops. And I don't know if you heard that, but I nicked the stop. It didn't seem to mess the blade, but I did nick the stop there. Just barely nicked that stop. So let's get these off. That sucks. That was my fault. That stinks. That band was cutting really good too. I mean, it still cut good after I nicked it, so we'll see what happens. It's 9. It's 3/4. This one's actually, yeah, it nicked it pretty good. I'll show you that. It hit it pretty good. This other board is actually fairly close to 3 inches. It's a little thin. Yeah. This one's a little thin. That didn't work out so good. Keep that one to the side. Probably means that this one's a little thick in the middle. Not sure whether it was bowed up or down. No, this one's consistent. It's nice. So I think for the sake of not ever doing that again, I'm just going to drop these all the way down. I think I'm going to cut this one out. And this one's bent so much, it's just not registering anymore. I think I'll just cut this one out and do the same thing with that one. And I'll try to do that again. Whatever I end up with on the bottom, I end up with on the bottom. All right, so let's drop down. I got to get back on scale again. See how many we end up with here. Looks like this board might be a little bit, well, leaning up on the other side. All right. So that's it right there. I'm going to end up with 2 boards here. No, I only end up with 1 this way. I only end up with 1. I don't want to do that. I don't only want to end up with 1 out of this. I want to end up with 2. It's 2 1/4. 3/4 inch and a half. I should end up with 2. I should end up with 2. Inch and a half is plus 1/8. Yeah, I should end up with 2 boards here. Oh no, because I can't drop down that far. How does that work out? The 3 here gets me to 1 5/8, and then the next one's down at like 3/4. I can't go that low. So I can't go that low. So I'm going to pause you guys again. We're going to get the other one up here and see if we can end up with, I'd like to get 2 boards out of that one too. You know what? We're already long. So, and I don't know exactly what that did to my cut. Doesn't look like it did a lot. My cut's still pretty smooth. I'm going to take 1 board off this. Let's see what the cut looks like. And then we'll figure it out. We probably put that one up there, cut that one out. Let's take 1 board off this and see what the cut looks like after hitting the stop. Took a pretty good chunk off the stop, so this will be a good test for this band. Came off my log stop, smashed into my roller guide. Now let's finish the cut out. All right, let's scrape this one off and take a look at it and see what happened to the finish. Yeah, I don't see any issues at all. Looks beautiful. Looks like that survived a strike on that. That's a good test for that band, guys. That's a really good test for that band. I'll show you the finish. So as far as band testing goes, this was a good test for that band because it had a pretty good strike on here. I'll show you the strike. Let me get this out of the way so you can see it in the sunlight. You can see where it hit right there, across the top. Took a pretty good chunk out of it too. But if you look at the finish on this, it doesn't look like the finish suffered at all. You get this way so that I'm not having my shadow in there. Gosh darn it. Doesn't look like the finish suffered pretty much at all. It's really still really good. It's really good. Yeah, it looks really nice. So, that's a good sign for these bands. I mean, I guess if this is supposed to be about testing the sharpened stellite band, that's a good sign for it. I am going to continue to do my thing. I'm going to mill out that cant on top of this one so that I can mill that out as far as I can get it. I suppose one thing that I could do would be to if I put a board on both sides and kept everything super low, like an offcut, like one of these flitches over here. And I kept my stops super low. I could cut right down almost to the bottom, and then I wouldn't have to worry about bringing those up and use the boards to trap it. Just cut right through them. So that's not a bad idea. You could try that. I have this one here on the ground, and I have those two there. Just put one on one side, one on the other. Put that up here, clamp it low. In theory, that would trap that centerpiece so I could cut it out. But anyway, that's good test for that Stellite band. Seems to be okay still. And I'm well on my way to being done with this order. I think by the time I edge everything out, cut these out, edge everything out that I have up there, I think I'll have my 35. What do I got now? And I'm probably going to give them a couple extras. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've got 24 here. There's at least 25, 26. Maybe if I can figure out a way to get that one 27 there. And then I know I've got at least one here, probably two underneath it. So that's going to be 27, 28, 29, 30. And I have at least 5 in that stack. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. There's some in this stack too. So I have plenty here, I think, to get where I need to be without cutting another log. So I think that's just going to be it. And I'll do what I can do to get this cut out and that cut out. Get a few more boards, and I may have a board in that right there. That one right there might have a 5.5 in it at 8 feet long, I think. Probably. I don't know what does Wayne look like on the other side? It's close. It's close. It's a lot of Wayne on the other side. No, it's only 4.5. So that one's not going to work. But yeah, how does that Stellite band work after being sharpened? Seems to work pretty good. I don't see how it could be better. So for now, I sharpened it. I showed you the sharpening. I tested it before. Ran forever. I tested it after. It's cutting beautiful. And it's cutting on dimension. It's cutting nice. I mean, look at these two stacks. If you look at these two stacks over 24 boards, I mean, it's even just using the scale is cutting pretty much right on dimension. That's gorgeous. That's beautiful. Gorgeous. So, cut flat, cut straight, cut on dimension, cut smooth. Looks good so far. I'll show you Danny real quick. I know this video got long. I don't expect many people are going to still be hanging on, but see Danny's going to cut foot. There he is. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. He's got a cut foot. See his foot down there in the boot. So I have to be careful with him. Kind of just wanted to mill out this order and get him back inside. He's kind of had to spend the last couple days inside with him, not out here cutting. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, try to mill out the rest of those cans, and I'll call it a day because I got to go sit with him inside, so he doesn't get his foot dirty. It's getting better. He's not limping today. But for now, appreciate the watch. Any questions, hit me up. 7 degrees, Stellite band, sharpened with the chainsaw rock, just face sharpening, not the full profile rock, and it cut out that log with no problem and hit the stops. So hope you guys have a good one, and for now, Pirate Solutions out.